Hi, everyone. Happy Saturday. I'm so excited. Hi, everyone. Happy Saturday. I'm so excited to have my dear friend Susanne Bennett on for part 2 because I got so much feedback from you guys. The feedback was like, oh my God, she's so amazing. Like you could just see how deep she could really go. Like she really knows this stuff. Amazing. And then I also got people saying to me, oh my God, Lavinia, she took away my bread. She took away my cheese. She took away my sugar. She took away my alcohol. But then she gave me beans and turkey before I go to sleep at night. She gave me kimchi, sauerkraut, and pickles. Like, oh my God, Lavinia, like, no way. Like, there's got to be another way. So today we're going to talk to you really about that other way, because there is another way. Incorporating all of Susanne's, the way she approaches nutrition and supplements. So I'm just going to show you. I have my morning drink that I have right here. And this is the drink that I drink every morning. And it's Susanne's concoction. And it has in it, it has greens, my super greens. It has collagen, and it has lecithin in it. And I add also a tablespoon of flaxseed oil. So that is the drink that I start my day with every single day. And it makes me feel so amazing. So before we start, I love to start just to get us grounded. Big 3 breaths, okay? We're going to do 3 big breaths. I want to do love today. I watched my spiritual teacher this morning on a Zoom, and he ended the call with love heals. And it just really resonated to me that we just have to immerse ourselves in love and send out love everywhere so that we can all heal on every level. Spiritually heal, mentally heal, emotionally heal, and physically heal. So let's do 3 big breaths, just inhaling for 5 counts. Let's go. Hold the breath. Exhale love. Inhale love. Hold the breath. Exhale love. One more deep healing love breath, okay? Inhale love. Hold the breath and smile. Smile. Exhale love. Okay. So let's welcome Dr. Susanne Bennett.
Hello, everyone. I was just dying when you're talking about, I totally realized you're absolutely right. I just got very enthusiastic about what people can do to help themselves. And taking away things is tough. There's no doubt. But you know what, I want to give you a lot more detail of, let's get down to what really am I talking about when about food. I was only talking about that beans and turkey is if you've got sleeping issues at nighttime, but you can use other kinds of foods, and we could definitely dive into that, Lavinia. I want everyone to know is that there's always a really good list that you can look at of the do list and the do not eat list. And you can find that on my website, drsusanne.com. As soon as you jump on the page, there's like a pop-up. And if you want to, I can share the screen right now, Lavinia, so you can see it. So everyone can get this, right? So let me go ahead and share my screen. And let's see, here it is. Hold on. Here it is. So when you go to drsusanne.com, there's going to be a pop-up that shows up within like 30 seconds. And you're going to see that there's going to be a little guidebook, and that's on the magic of kimchi. But then you're going to also get what's called my Ultimate Wellness Do's and Don'ts food checklist. Now, what's wonderful about this checklist is that it gives you a full variety of food that you can eat. And then there's the ones that I'm going to show you, like, there's certain foods that might actually cause a lot of digestive issues, inflammatory issues. So this food list is an anti-inflammatory, anti-allergy low FODMAP. And what I mean by that is low fermentable carbohydrates that can feed the microbiome. And I'm talking about if you have an excessive amounts of bacteria, or if you have a lot of gas and bloating, that really does mean that you've got dysbiosis in your gut. And when you stay on this do's and don'ts food list, and you maintain it for at least 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to see changes. You're going to start to build your microbiome, get rid of the bad ones, get rid of the gas, the bloat, and you can get better bowel movements, lose that constipation, because we need to have good bowel movements so that we can optimize and get rid of all of your toxins. Toxins, when your toxins are higher, your immune system goes down. Remember, it goes like this. So if you have too much toxins, your immunity goes down. And right now, why are we talking today? It's because we want to be able to strengthen and manage this modulation of immunity. At the last talk, we talked about how you don't want to be too strong and you don't want to be too weak either. We really want that sweet spot of immune building. So let me get out of this stop share. People, you can go on my website and you can, basically request that download, and you'll be able to get it for yourself. So like I said, do's and don'ts. And there's a lot of different foods that you're going to think, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. I just want you to know, try to manage a bit on a lower end. You don't have to take everything out. And that's another thing. I know I said dairy-free, gluten-free, sugar-free, alcohol-free. That's it. Don't worry. You don't have to do it all at once.
Okay. So I have a thing for that, because, I live by the 80-20 rule. So Monday through Friday, I would say my diet's pretty impeccable. On the weekend, like that's the time when if I want to have something, like a piece of cheese, or I want to have something that is like in the red food, so to speak, that's when I'll do it. But let's also talk to them about, if they do it, there are certain things that they can take. Like I know we've talked about with alcohol. If somebody wants to have alcohol, then they better have some C and D, extra vitamin C and vitamin D to counteract that alcohol. So, let's give them some, little tools, little hacks that they can have if they are going to have a piece of pizza, or they are going to have a bowl of pasta. Like, what are the things that they can do? Because people are going to do it.
People are going to,
let's give them those hacks, what are the good enzymes that they take, and some of the other stuff that they can take to eliminate some of the negativity of that on their body.
Got it. I love your whole 80-20 rule. And I'm a big believer in that too, because you can't be completely, some people can, because they have severe health conditions. And your celiac disease, you have to be 100% free of gluten. All right. And if you've got anaphylactic reactions when you eat dairy, same thing. So with that being said, most people are not in those categories. I see a lot of those cases. All right. That's part of the reason why I mentioned all that. But with individuals who don't, but they might have some hidden symptoms. Lavinia, a lot of people have hidden symptoms. And what are those? Runny nose, postnasal drip, scratchy throat, little soreness here and there, fatigue, brain fog after eating, that food coma. You get bloated, you get gassy. Sometimes you got to run to the bathroom because you got diarrhea. And some people think that's totally normal because that's how they've been their whole lives. But that's not normal. That's not normal, going to the bathroom that much. And then some people, they get constipated for 3 to 4 days, can't have any bowel movement. And these are problems. These are all hidden. Maybe it causes you headaches, So there's different, some people, they get eczema, skin rash when they eat dairy 2 days ago. So it's not like immediate. Everyone's got to be their own detective, medical detective, to figure this out. But if you do have foods like dairy and gluten and alcohol once in a while, right? Not every day, right? Because it takes 4 days for the food to leave your body, just to let you know. You eat on Monday dairy, then it takes 4 days for that antigen or allergen to leave. So it could be that if you're pretty sensitive, twice a week might not make you feel good. Mm-hmm. But let's say that you don't get heavy symptomatology, right? Then what you want to do is, how can I mitigate the reactions? Number one, you would take, let's say, lactase-free milk or lactase-free cheese. I don't know. In fact, I know there's lactose-free, which is a sugar that some people are sensitive to. Lactose-free milk. I don't know about lactose-free cheese because I've never even looked for it, but maybe there is some. Otherwise, you could take an enzyme. There's an enzyme, many of them out there that break down dairy. So you just go online.
But which one is the best one to break down dairy?
Just to let you know, I can't say that there's a best one, but the one that I use has been in the past. It's called Dairy Ease. But anyway, there's many of them, and all of the good companies make it. Metagenics, Zymogen, who else is good? Orthomolecular, Pure Encapsulations. All of the really good companies that are constantly up on the science, of supplementation, nutritional, orthomolecular nutrients, they all have it. You can go to the health food store. The next best thing would be, let's say, a natural pharmacy, Pharmacup. That's what we've got in our neighborhood, right, Lavinia? And you can go there and they have all of those. The next tier below that is a company, let's say, like Whole Foods or somewhere where you can get your grocery stores, because there's constantly, you're seeing people buying it. The thing that is really tough is when you have the big box stores that you get the big mega container of vitamin C or calcium. When you get those, they are the least, they're not as healthy for us because they are cheap, because you get it in volume, in bulk, and that might create less of an absorption. You could have reaction to it. Sometimes they've got fillers in it that you don't want, right? And my concern about those types of big stores is that they buy huge volumes. So I don't know how long it's been sitting on the shelf. That's a biggie. Shelving. So I always read and I look at, what is the expiration date? Now, everyone, you might find that there might be an MFG, manufacture date, or an EXP or EX. Do not get them mixed up. You've got to make sure, because it might be manufactured 2 years ago, and you're thinking, you know what? Then that means, and when you buy it, let's say you bought it and it was manufactured, usually you can say, oh, it's expired already, but that's not true, right? Most of the supplements, you want to look at that and then make sure that it hasn't expired. An expiration date is not like 2 months from now. You got to buy it, a year to 2 year. Some like homeopathic formulas, 5 years, it'll last. Homeopathic formulas, it's just the nature of what that product is, because most of the time it's in tiny little tablet forms, or it's in alcohol-based form, right? Homeopathics. Otherwise, other forms, herbals often is longer. The most short period of expiration time period is fats, oils. You always got to look at your oils.
That would be vitamin D.
Thank you. The vitamin D is an oil. It's a fat soluble oil, but not always does the vitamin D come in oil. Often vitamin Ds come in powdered form. All of the vitamins that are fat soluble, A, D, E, and K, you have to take it with oils, right? But if you do get, let's say, an oil bottle of vitamin D, oh yeah, for sure. Because all fats will go rancid. It will oxidize. And that's one of the bigger problems. So what I do with all my fish oils and any of my natural oils, like I take omega 7s, which is really good for women in the menopausal stage. But anyway, I put those in the refrigerator. And I make sure I don't buy big bottles. You get small bottles. So you can get the next one. You go to that favorite store that you like to go, and you go and get it, because again, that expiration is what you're concerned about. So you got to read and make sure that you get all these supplements in that manner. But the ones that I'm talking about from all of the places, you really want to, and of course your doctors have, great products, and they might have products that are more geared towards certain types of conditions, and the power, the actual amount of, let's say, the supplement might be a higher dose, right? Because doctors use it more in a clinical setting and therapeutically, whereas the ones at the health food store might have less of an amount of vitamins, my nutrients. And then the next is, after oils, are vitamins. Vitamins They also need to be fresh. So read your expiration date. Vitamins are like vitamin Bs, vitamin C, right? I already told you about the fat soluble. And then after that will be your minerals. These are all very, very important for all whole body vibration, whole body cellular metabolism. You need all of it flowing well, and the nutrients that are going. And of course, I mean, Lavinia, I totally love food to be your first, your best medicine. We need food to get all your nutrients. But the reason why I suggested kimchi, one of the reasons is because food needs to be digested. And what kimchi does, which has the lactic acid bacteria, it actually helps your body digest your own food.
Right.
So one of the things that, George used to tell me, and you've seen me eat, I eat a lot of food, Lavinia, right? In volume.
Right.
And George would ask me when I first met him, my husband, like, where's all that food going? Sure, I have a good metabolism and I'm active physically, but what's also happening is that my digestive system, the microbiome, is very robust from the 50 plus years of eating kimchi. So my gut actually does the digestion. It eats up some of the carbs, some of the protein, some of the high amount of calories that I take. Sometimes I can eat 3,000 calories, 3,500 calories a day, which is a lot of food, right?
A lot of food. So I want to stay on point here with the vitamins. Like, let's go through the actual vitamins. I know you said last week, you talked about zinc and selenium.
Selenium.
Like, let's talk about that first. You mentioned that. Like, when should people take that? How much dosage should they take of that? And also, is there any people that should avoid that? Is there something that somebody could have, a condition or a situation that they might not want to take those? Like, let's just start with those two.
Sure, absolutely. So zinc and selenium are minerals. These are minerals. These are essential minerals our cells needed for different functions. And the reason why we talked about it last week was because it is it's for your immune system. What's really interesting with both of them, it really helps control your ability to fight off viruses. They've done studies. This is science-based medicine. So what I do, just to let you know, any dosage that I'm going to share with you, I don't want you to, this is all educational, everyone. I'm not your doctor, right? I want everyone to know that this is something that I give to my patients, my recommendations, and I might even say this is what I take. But that doesn't mean that's the right dose for you. Everyone here listening has got to go to your own doctor and make sure that you don't have any issues with your drug reactions. Maybe you're on some medication that you're not supposed to be taking certain types of vitamins or minerals or whatever it is. You've got to talk to your doctor here. All right, everyone know that. So, well, with that being said, I want to share what I do with myself and with what my recommendations is for some of my patients. The general, and what I mean is people that are for maintenance care, for immune care, not for some disease care. All right, so that's important. So then let's go to zinc. Zinc is a mineral that is found in, it's not, you can't get a lot of zinc in our body. You can get zinc in minerals, in nuts and seeds, but it's also found in, let's say, shellfish, right? That's part of the reason why they talk about, like, if you have oysters, right? You've heard of oysters, it's going to help. And zinc is really good for the reproductive organs, but zinc is also really well known with your immunity. Selenium is also found in Brazilian nuts. So if you had a couple of Brazilian nuts, then that might take care of your levels. With zinc, I tell people try to get 15 milligrams 2 to 3 times a day. At this point, right now, if it wasn't during this whole pandemic, I would say get 15 milligrams twice a day, just the basic amount. And because our soils are not enriched with zinc, we don't have a lot of, we have, mineral depleted soil. So our food, our vegetables, it's just, we don't get enough. So that's part of the reason why I do want to recommend zinc for whole body. Including your reproductive and growth. Children all need it for growth, very important for skin and everything. But anyway, let's go into selenium. Selenium is in micrograms, and there's milligrams, like in zinc. You always got to read read your label, and then there's selenium. Selenium is in micrograms, and with selenium, I use usually about 100 microgram a day if you're just basic. But if you're going to be, again, you might be around a lot of people, you're on the front line, you have a lot of people that you have to take care of, and you're around viruses a lot, I would use, for my patients, I tell them 100 micrograms twice a day. So it all depends on what situation you're in, right? There are people that cannot eat Brazilian nuts. They're very, very sensitive to Brazilian nuts, right? So if that's the case, then you can't use that, and you got to use supplementation.
Okay, great. So take us through, I got a lot of questions on this one. Lavinia, there's so many, they're telling us we're supposed to have C now. Of course, most of the stores don't even have it. But the other confusion was, what kind of C? There's so many different types of C. There's absorbic C, there's just, so explain the different types of vitamin C's and also the quantities in which people need to take.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Sorry if I'm sweating right now. I don't know, Lavinia. It is like 90 degrees outside, and it is so hot. I just had to text my husband, please turn the air on. While he's doing that, let me tell you, vitamin C is one of those nutrients that, everyone, everyone talks about it. Because there are different levels of vitamin C. You're absolutely right. So the ones that I take is the one that's been studied for, many years. And it's been studied by Dr. Vojani. And the reason why I like the C that I use is by it's called ultrapotent C. I'm not here, I don't care what you take. I just want you to I want you to know that there's different kinds of seeds, and then you get what you want. This is the one that I use. And the reason why I use it is because it's been studied where it improves your natural killer cells. Natural killer cells is part of our immunity. And what does that mean? It boosts that part of the immune system that will go and tag and be able to kill off the bacteria or the viruses or whatever you've got that is in the front line. So I use that. In addition to this vitamin C, what I look for is what's called buffered. What does buffered mean? Buffered means it's attached to within a mineral, let's say, so that it reduces its acidity. If you look at ascorbic, it's called ascorbic acid. Vitamin C is ascorbate, or ascorbic, I should say ascorbic acid. As soon as you attach it to sodium, or calcium, because there's calcium ascorbate here, it becomes buffered C, and it becomes from an acid to an ascorbate. So it's less irritating. Some people have ulcers, gastritis, reflux, right? And those individuals, they don't do well with vitamin C. Some of my patients will say, oh, I take vitamin C and it always hurts, right, in my chest. So these are the things that you got to look out for. Now, there's the liposomal. That's probably the third generation of vitamin C. Liposomal are in liquid form. And what that means is that the vitamin C is bathed in a liposomal, which is it's a phospholipid, mainly phosphatidylcholine. And what that means is it can get absorbed in our gut much faster. So with that being said, liposomal, some people, if they've got sensitivities in their mouth, if they've got gingivitis, or some people have what's called stomatitis, cold sores in the mouth, then it'll cause more irritation because it's a liquid, right? There's also vitamin C in literally just water form, liquid form, and you can just drink it, right? There's also chewables. Mm-hmm. So there's many different kinds, and usually with chewables, it's combined with sugar, So, I would say that if you didn't have vitamin C and, and you really want to go and you're at the 7-Eleven or whatever corner store and you need vitamin C right away, then go get those wafers. Mm-hmm. All of these vitamin C's can have bioflavonoids with it or not. Now, what's a bioflavonoid? Bioflavonoids are the nutrients that are naturally in fruits and vegetables that reduce inflammation in our body. And that includes hesperin, rutin, quercetin, bioflavonoids. And you've eaten a tangerine and all that stringy stuff on the outside of the citrus, those are bioflavonoids. That's why you want to eat the whole thing. During this time, I highly recommend everyone to have, citrus fruit or some type of fruit that has those little bioflavonoids attached to it. And I like it. I actually eat the tangerine peel. It's just a little bit. I'm talking about just a quarter size, a couple times. When you're eating the tangerine, eat a couple of quarter size of the peel. That will optimize your ability to reduce inflammation. They are also antihistamine. So if you're someone who's got a runny nose, itchy eye, because right now, spring, there's pollen everywhere in California. Everyone's calling me for treatments regarding allergies. And one of my treatments for them is they've got to take vitamin C with bioflavonoids because it will reduce your histamine release, that runniness, and then of course, go down postnasal drip. You can start coughing, itchiness, all of that. Anytime you want to take a Zyrtec, or Claritin, whatever those medicines are for allergies, start with your vitamin C because you might not need as much.
So Susanne, what's the dosage, a recommended dosage?
So I usually start with my patients 500 milligrams 2 to 3 times a day. So it's a water soluble. Remember I said A, D, E, and K is fat soluble? Well, B's and C's are water soluble. And that means that you're going to pee it out regularly. You can once you start taking it. So even at 500 milligrams of vitamin C, you're going to notice your urine is as yellow as my shirt. It does get yellow. So just don't worry about it. So because you're urinating it out as soon as you take it, then it's important that you take it regularly throughout the day. So I'd rather have you take 500 milligrams, all splitting up 3 times rather than 1,000 milligrams or 2,000 in the morning and that's it.
Right. Okay. Perfect.
Right. So it's important that you do use that. Think of that as your way of like, okay, I need to manage this a little bit better. A lot of the, for this pill is a full 1,000 milligram. So if I say 500, then you just cut it in half.
Oh, okay.
Or you look for a formula that has 500. Now, I'm someone that I'm used to taking vitamin C and I know what my body loves. What my body loves is 1,000 milligrams 2 to 3 times a day, depending on my level of intensity. I go all out all day long. If I'm at a conference, I'm being speaker on stage or whatever I do, really need to level up my energy.
Right.
Vitamin C, I do it 3 times usually during that time. And people don't realize that vitamin C is super, super important for your adrenal glands. Many, many years ago, when they started discovering vitamin C as a vitamin, and that's essential, what they did was they took, I know this is terrible, but they took guinea pigs and they took their adrenal glands and they wanted to see what's the difference, in the properties. And when they squeezed it out in the guinea pigs, they found it was vitamin C. Wow. So we all know that vitamin C is an adrenal support. It supports your adrenal glands. What does that mean? You get better energy. It helps you manage stress. Really good for your cortisol function. And we need cortisol right now because we're also in a fight-flight state, right, during this pandemic. So you need all of your good hormones to be able to, go out there. And of course, steroid hormones like DHEA, testosterone for men and women, and as well as estrogen, progesterone. It's made in our adrenal glands. So vitamin C is a very, very important supplement. And it's an orthomolecular. Orthomolecular means if you don't get it in your diet or even supplementation, then your cells will start to die early because your cells don't have the nutrients to create power. It doesn't have the nutrients to rejuvenate. It doesn't have the nutrients to be able to replenish and build your cells.
Wow.
So orthomolecular nutrients are vitamins, minerals, and fats, the omegas, omega-3s. You have to have those for you to really live.
Omega-3s, let's go into that's the fish oils.
Yes. Nowadays, you've got fish oils, and then you've got also vegan omega-3s, which comes from algae. Now there's omega-3s in flax oil, in hemp seed oil, in natural seed oils, you can find omega-3s as well, but it's not as powerful as the fish oil and the algae oil.
So
Even the algae oil, you got to take a lot to get the right amount. And I like using, okay, what are omega-3s? DHA, it's called DHA, and EPA. And these two oils work differently. So DHA is really good for your brain. The EPA is really good for your heart. So we want both. These are major organs that makes our whole body function. The brain and the heart, right? You need, heart never sleeps, constantly. You have tons of mitochondria in the heart cells because the heart needs to pump constantly and it never rests. Brain, it does rest a bit during your sleep, but it really doesn't rest. I mean, it's not 100%. So those two organs need the omega-3s. So it's important that we all get some. Now, how much? Everyone's different because it all depends on how well your body can absorb these fats. All right. Some people can't absorb very well. So I recommend those individuals to take enzymes. We talked a little bit about enzymes earlier. And what are the digestive enzymes that really help with fat digestion is lipase. But when you get an enzyme and you're looking for it, make sure that you get the protein digesting one. It's called protease. Make sure you get the one that digests carbohydrates. And those are more like amylases. You know,
wait, I have a question. Is that all in one, or do you have to get different? It's all in one. So you can get an enzyme that has all of that.
Most of them have, it'll say, if it says digestive enzymes, it'll have all of them.
Okay.
I'm someone that eats, animal protein, and I'm not vegan. So I use also an enzyme that has oxbile in it. And oxbile, what that does, it helps me break down my fats and my protein. It helps me digest it better.
So you have in your little basket over there, do you have the enzyme that you use?
I don't have it, but do you want me to get it? It's right there. I can get it.
I don't know.
But exactly.
We're definitely going to put that on the website.
Yes.
And
my
then
I
do have a question because I actually just got it. Somebody emailed that to me. There's a lot of talk right now about, like with fish oils, that certain waters are so polluted, and that the fish oils, there's certain places that we should get fish oils from and shouldn't have fish oils from because the water is so polluted and so forth. So what do you recommend with healthy fish oils?
I'm a big believer that you've got to look at the company and where are they getting their fish. All right. Where is it? And where is it caught? And then how is it processed? Because I would say that the ones that I work with, the companies that I work with, they are mainly for doctors. Mm-hmm. They have done all of their testing and they test it with third party for heavy metals, mercury toxicity and things like that. I get my fish oils from Zymogen. It's called Monopure. And the reason why I like that one is because it comes in a soft gel. And when I take it, I don't burp it up.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people complain about that they can taste the fish and all that. So I look for easy digestion, when it comes to fish oils. And then I look for the quality. And the company will give you, if you ask them, ask them, have you tested this out for heavy metals? They'll give you the actual lab results, so that's what you want to look out for. I don't like a lot of the problem about fish oils is that sometimes it comes from farm raised fish and you don't know it. To me, the wild is the best. Farm raised is loaded with persistent organic pollutants. It's toxins that are literally in the farm, and the fish, and they're also loaded with antibiotics and all forms of pesticides. When farm raised fish, if you ever see it, I've seen many videos. You'll see that online because I've studied it quite a bit, and especially the farms in Norway, and up over there, you would think, wow, Norway's is like, totally away from everything, but I'm telling you, their fishing industry is really unhealthy, and there's lice, sea lice all over the fish. So parasites, there's a lot. I can go on and on about.
So I think we'll definitely put the couple that you recommend on the website for sure, because I know that is, I know quite a few people that have gotten high mercury and had to do all chelation. and they don't even really eat fish, but it was from their fish oil. So I think that's really important for people. Okay, so take us through the other must do, you know, like the 10, like if people were going to only take 10 supplements, these are the 10. So we've already said the 5 really.
I highly recommend glutathione.
Right.
All right. The glutathione is very important because it is the master antioxidant in your whole body. Every mitochondria, every cell pretty much makes it. You can make it in your mitochondria, and you need glutathione so that you don't prematurely age, meaning your cell it won't die as quickly. And it prevents its oxidative stress and free radical damage. The reason why we have such disease in this country, obesity, cardiovascular, Alzheimer's, diabetes, high blood pressure, it all starts from damage of the mitochondria, mitochondrial dysfunction. And why is because that mitochondria dies, and the mitochondria die, then the cell dies, because it's the powerhouse. All right, it's the powerhouse. It's literally the spark engine of your cell. Glutathione is that one ingredient that some people, you don't make enough. Other people, if you end up going, if you're under a lot of stress, you don't sleep very well, you can't rejuvenate enough glutathione. So to me, glutathione is that next important vitamin. Yes.
And let me just say something, because there's also been a lot of people that say that you can't take glutathione, that it's very hard that you have to do the glutathione vitamin drips. Like, so explain that a little bit.
Great question, because Lavinia, the one that I take is liposomal based. Remember earlier I said, this is a tube, it's a liquid, and I take about a teaspoon twice a day. That's everyone with my patients, I usually start at half of a teaspoon, because your body uses glutathione also to detox. So when I do a detox cleanse, right now I've got a group of ladies and we're doing cleansing and all that. Well, glutathione is something that I recommend so that we can help that process. Liver is one of those organs that help with detoxification, get rid of the toxins. And remember I said earlier, when you're lower in toxicity, your immunity will get stronger. So it's super important that we support our liver and all of our other organs like kidney and all that. Glutathione is very important. What else is why glutathione so important is because it's also an antiviral agent. When my patients have, let's say, Epstein-Barr, chronic fatigue syndrome, viral infections, that's whether it's a cold or flu, and even the corona, I put this is one of the biggie for hitting hard. Now, what the liposomal, the question you were asking is the capsule forms, it says reduced glutathione. It doesn't work as well, and you're absolutely right, it doesn't get absorbed because it's a large molecule. So in the liposomal type, it envelops the glutathione and then your body absorbs it better. This company, there's two companies that you could, that's out there that have really good liposomal, but the one that I use is by Research Nutritionals. And Research Nutritionals, it's about 450 milligrams of glutathione in 1 teaspoon. So I get about 1,000, close to 1,000 per day. Now, when you get IV, and that means you go to a doctor and they do a drip or a push, and they just literally push it right in through a syringe. That could be 1,000, could be 2,000. To me, this works, at least for my patients. I use it all the time. It works really well, and it gets absorbed. And they've done studies on blood testing right after they take it, within a 20-minute period, what's the level of glutathione, and it shoots right up. So I know it works. So that's really important. I would say that in general, we don't get enough vitamins and minerals. So I want you to take a multivitamin. Now, most people won't take supplements like I do. I take a lot of supplements, you know that, right? And the way I take my vitamins is I separate it all out. And the reason is because my body runs at a specific pace, I said, and I need sometimes more B's on other days. And I need more C's sometimes on other days. And I might need more minerals because I'm sweating a lot because I'm going outside or I'm doing my sauna work. And I need more nutrients, minerals, right? Because I'm sweating it all out or I'm peeing it all out. So most of my patients, I customize their program. C's, you might be 1,000 a day, you know, split up. B's might be twice a day, not once. But in general, for everyone, if you don't do that, you don't need to, or you find that you get really good food and you're eating it really well, loads of fresh vegetables and fruits, nuts and seeds, and good proteins, then doing a multi at least gives you the basic foundation. So multi to me is super important. So I did set fish oils, multi, and then glutathione, minerals, get a multi-mineral. I use a multi-mineral, but I also use what's called ketone. Lavinia, you use these.
Yeah.
And these are glass vials, and it's called plasma seawater. The French, it's Dr. Ketone is the one that originated this. And way back when, I think it was in like World War I, they used to use this liquid in the blood for blood transfusions during the war, because they didn't have any blood. They would use this as a way to replenish blood, which was amazing. And nowadays, they basically purify it and they put it in these glass vials. And I take this morning and at night, and it really helps with my terrain. Terrain means what external, like your microbiome. It helps that, but it's also really good for cramps, muscle cramps. So I take it in the morning and at night. And I exercise, you know, as you do. And sometimes we get crampy and we're tight, you know. So I use that. But that's not something that you have to have, but the minerals is essential. So you want to get.
Could they do a multi with extra minerals in it? Like a.
You do it that way. Yes. Most multivitamins have minerals in it, unless it says multi-B. If it's multi-B, then it's all B vitamins. It doesn't have everything else. So go look for something that's multi.
What about herbs? Because I know a lot of people hear the word herbs, and like, what herbs do you think are during this time?
Before I go there, Lavinia, I just want to touch on one more, vitamin D. Remember I said multivitamin mineral? You don't get enough vitamin D in the multi. Right. So even if you're just getting multi, I highly recommend you to get a vitamin D source. I know we talked a lot about there's capsule form, tablet form, liquid form, get whatever you've got. But I know we can't go out right now and get your blood test, but if you've had blood testing done, then it's super important that you look and ask your doctor, well, how much should I be taking? In general, I usually tell people anywhere from 2 to 5,000 during the summertime, and then from 5,000 to 10,000 during the winter time, because most of my patients are low. And what does low mean? The number that you shoot for is between 60 to 80 nanograms per deciliter, or milliliter, mLs. So what you want to do is when you get your blood test done, you got to look at the number. So if you're lower than 60, even if at 50, I like to do it a little bit more. You're going to find that it takes time for that D level in your body to go up. The reason why you take less during the summer is because you're in the sun, and the sun, the UVB light charges up your skin, penetrates, and it converts your own cholesterol into vitamin D. So we want cholesterol in our body. I'm a big believer that if you've got good cholesterol levels, you should have good vitamin D levels.
Susanne, there are lifeguards in California that are literally out in the sun every single day, and their vitamin D is not high.
That's right. Great question, Lavinia. You know why? It's because there's genetic factors involved. Genetically, there is what's called VDR-TAC, VDR-BSM, VDR-FOK, or FOLK. Anyway, so there are genes, and I'm one of them. Notice I'm really tan, Levin.
Yeah.
Even with me being tan, I've got to take 10,000 a day.
Wow.
So when I started with my vitamin D journey, it was a long, long time ago. It was down like 34, 35, really low. And it took me about a full year to get up to 49, a full year of taking vitamin D 10,000. And then after that, I made it higher just so that I can get to 68. I went to 15,000 for a little while and went back down to 10. And that's how I got it. It is, and so now I've maintained it.
Right.
But it is very difficult. It's very important that you do that. Now, I know about my genetics because I did my 23andMe. In my practice, I read genetic analysis. I do a genetic analysis on most of my patients, and I'll be able to tell you whether you've got that or not. If you have that, then you will know, oh my gosh, I really need to take and take supplementation of vitamin D. I highly recommend it. And you have to take it with food. Lavinia, I've had cases where people just take it, anytime during the day, and they take 10,000 and nothing changes. Right. 3 months later, I'm like, where's your vitamin D level here? Why is it still low? And so I have to do a little digging, and they don't eat it with food. You've got to remember, it's a fat soluble vitamin. So you've got to eat it with some kind of fats.
So it really doesn't matter if you do your D in the morning with breakfast or you do your D at night with, does it matter what time?
Really interesting. There's some studies show that if you do a vitamin D at nighttime, you actually might sleep better. But for my body, if I do it vitamin D at night, it boosts my dopamine up. That's another reason why vitamin D is so important. It's one of those immune building of pro-hormones. It's pro-hormone meaning every cell in your body needs vitamin D. And the reason why some people want to take it at nighttime is because vitamin D receptors that are in your sleep center in your brainstem, there's high receptors. So you need that binding so that your whole body relaxes and pretty much goes into paralysis to go to sleep, deep sleep. So vitamin D is involved in sleep. But for my body, I got to do it in the morning. I look at it this way. Vitamin D, you get it from the sun, right? So I mimic what's in nature. I want to do everything that's natural in nature, in the rhythms, your biorhythms of your body and biorhythms of nature is how I like to work together, right? So when it's nighttime, I don't want bright lights on, right? Nighttime, I want to mimic that at nighttime. So I turn the lights off and then my body knows it's time for me to go to sleep. Right. Same thing in the morning. You don't want to be holed up in a cubicle all day long without getting any sun, because then it's going to throw off your whole biorhythm and your natural rhythm of hormones being excreted out. Maybe we talk about hormones one day.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Because
I want to, because we're a little bit late, and okay. But I do think this is really important. So I want to keep going a little bit. And anybody out there that, of course, has appointments and you've got to click off, thank you so much for joining us. Get on to laviniaerico.com or Susanne Bennett's. What is it, Dr. Susanne?
Yeah, Dr. Susanne. You can find me. That's my website, drsuzanne.com with an S.
And we'll have a lot of information. But I just think I just want to stay on a little bit longer, Susanne, because I'm getting stuff from people that they're like, keep going. I know you're going to pop off. Keep going.
Okay.
So just keep going for a few more minutes. So okay, I feel like we got the vitamin D. What is that?
Oh yeah, let's talk about amino acid therapy. Okay. Amino acids, super 8 aminos. This is for every individual, including vegans. In fact, more important for vegans because you don't get enough amino acids. Essential. Essential, again, is an orthomolecular. If you don't have this, then your cells don't function optimally. And essential amino acids are super important for your immunity. If your immune system doesn't get the building blocks. Now, what is amino acids? It's the building blocks for protein. Building blocks for your hair, your skin, your organs, your lungs, your heart, your brain, everything is the building block is made from amino acids. Enzymes, those receptors, all of that we talked about, it's all amino acid based. So our DNA.
Tell us how we do the amino acids. And also aren't there like tons of different amino acids types?
Yes, so amino acids. Yes, these are vegan based. That's the reason why you can definitely use that. Most amino acids out there are vegan based. Now, you mentioned about collagen, right?
Yeah.
Collagen is a large protein. It's about 1,000 amino acids strung together. Think about a pearl, and you've got 1,000 pearls strung together. Wow. Amino acids are one single of that pearl. Wow. So it gets absorbed immediately, and it goes in and goes to the places where it's supposed to, so you can heal your body.
And those you have to take on an empty stomach, correct?
No, you don't have to. You can take it with food, but if you're eating a lot of food and you take this, you're going to compete with it, right?
Right.
It's going to compete. So I like to take it in between meals.
Yeah,
For vegans, I tell them take it with your food because it is like food. You know what I mean? For vegans, and vegans have to take higher levels. I take 5 of these. That's 5 grams twice a day. That's a lot, but I'm someone that I don't want to lose my muscles. As we age, one of the things that happens is called sarcopenia. We lose our muscle mass, age-related muscle mass. I know for a fact I have less muscle than I did when I was 25 years old because I've had my body composition tested since I was in actually college at UCLA. When I was a kinesiology major, we measured body fat, muscle mass. I've been measuring my body since I was like, I don't know, 20 years old, right? And I know my level has gone down. My muscles gone down and my fat level's gone up. That's natural. As we age, that will happen, you know, especially when you're postmenopausal, where I am. I don't get a cycle anymore. So because it naturally goes down, the thing that will maintain my muscle mass is this. It's the thing that's I mean, I can exercise, and if I don't take this, I can see the difference. My muscles are not as strong. I don't have as much density. And why do we want muscles? We want muscles because it's the major organs that suck up the glucose, and it'll prevent you from getting diabetes. And what I mean by that is that diabetes, what is diabetes? When your blood sugar is high in your glucose level. It's too high because your tissues are not sucking it up for energy.
Wow.
We need your muscles for getting rid of and reducing and stabilizing your blood sugar level. Key, very, very important. That's why I tell my patients, after you eat, you walk for 15, 20 minutes. You just walk, and it doesn't even have to be hard. You walk and your blood sugar will drop, all right? It's super important that protein and amino acids are essential. And the reason also why we don't maintain muscle mass as we age is because our body doesn't digest the proteins. That's part of the reason why I actually do take enzymes, you know, every meal.
I have a question about enzymes. Do you take it with food, or do you take it after you eat, or do you take it before you eat? Like
I take it right when I'm about to take my first bite.
Okay, so you're taking it right
at the first bite. And you know, a lot of people ask about water. You know, I'm a big believer in drinking purified water. And what I mean by that is reverse osmosis water. You can put a pinch of sea salt. You can even put one of these glass vials to mineralize it. But I would, if you love mineral water, which I love as well, just make sure that you ask the company to give you the third party, because you might find arsenic, and you might find, you know, minute levels of uranium, thallium, nickel, a lot of minerals that your body really doesn't need, which is, and in fact, arsenic can be detrimental to your health. So what I was thinking about when it comes to water, was the reason I talked about water is because when you're eating, don't be guzzling a lot of water.
Yeah, for sure.
You're going to dilute your enzymes, which then you can't digest your food very well. You know, so it's super important that you do sip your water a little bit, but don't guzzle, and don't drink cold water or ice cold. You know, cold in Chinese medicine tightens everything up. It slows the energy down, your chi, your life force, your, you know, prana, whatever you want to call it. It will slow it down. So then when you're drinking ice cold, then your digestion will be slower. All right. Just think about when you bruise and you hurt your elbow and swollen, you put ice on it. Yeah. To slow down the swelling, to slow down that blood flow, to reduce, right? Got a bruise, same thing. You put an ice pack on it. You know, with my female patients who bleed really heavily during their cycle for various reasons, I have them sit in an ice bucket, because in an ice bucket of water, it'll stop the bleeding.
Wow.
You know, that's a very, you know, it's an old remedy, but it works. It works. It's an ancient, more like Korean, you know, Oriental medicine.
Well, Susanne, I mean, I can just stay on all day talking to you, because, you know, this is like my favorite thing in the world to do.
I know.
But we're already over quite a bit. So I promise we're going to put all this stuff on so you have all this information. And we'll even add some other things that we didn't have enough time to go over. So everybody has all the antiviral, make sure they have everything for that. And then even talk about like if they do happen to either get COVID or even just get a flu, you know, I know you love the olive leaf and the, what is it, the ADP?
ADP I use mainly for more bacterial infections.
Okay.
You know, microbes like that. But I use olive leaf. This is my go-to. I've been doing this for 20 years and it's phenomenal for immunity. And the reason why you want olive leaf also is because remember with the corona, the biggest thing that people are scared of is that when you have the cytokine storm, when it gets so inflammatory, this quelches that fire. And so does, I use Virographis, and this is by Zymogen. Virographis is an andrographis formula. So those are the two herbs that I usually use.
What? Okay, so those are herbs. Those are herbal.
They're herbal formulas, both for viral control. I'm not a believer that you got to take it now. If you don't have a virus, don't take it.
Right.
But I will tell you, when I only go out once a week, and I get my mask. I got to show you this. I got my mask on. Lavinia, have you seen my new facial shield?
Oh my God.
I get the mask. I do the facial shield. I get my gloves. But anyway, before I do this,
Right.
I take a prophylactic dose
Of each.
Yes.
Or we have to for sure put that on because
Yes.
people need to do that.
Prophylactic dose before I go.
Another question. Do you put anything up your nose? Because I have this colloidal silver that I've been putting up my nose before I go in.
Exactly.
And colloidal silver throat spray that I use before I go into, you know, the store. But I haven't been taking anything like that. So I'll have to start adding that to it.
Yes. It's just so that it boosts your immunity up. And I love your idea of the spray and up the nose. Absolutely. That's something that you can do. If you don't have those nasal spray, you can just put it in your hand and go like, you know, just snort it up your nose and it works just as well.
Okay, good.
But
All
that's
right. Thank you. Thank you so much. This was amazing, guys. We'll see you next Wednesday. I don't even remember who my guest is, but I know it's going to be fabulous because I really love every single person that's on. Okay, we'll be back.
Lavinia, thank you as always. I love working with you. I mean, we've been buddies for so long and I love you so much. And I'm so glad that we're doing this together. It's so much fun. You know, I'm sorry that we can't do it next to each other. That would be so much fun, right?
Really fun.
But definitely, this is wonderful. And I'm really happy to be able to share whatever I know. I'm really excited about the fact that people are really interested in this and they're interested in self-care. It's key. It's key to your future.
All right. Okay.
Bye, everyone.